Welcome on back to Skip Say. I have 4 must-add players for your fantasy baseball teams in Week 5. Today's video is brought to you by So Rare MLB. Do not forget to subscribe. Join the Discord. Let's get into the 4 players. First player is Tanner Bibby of the Guardians. He is 24% rostered, and he made his first career start against the Rockies this week, and this is what his stat line read. 5 2/3, 6 hits, an earned run, no walks, and 8 strikeouts. He had 27% whiff rate and a called strike and whiff rate of 33%. His best pitch, his slider, had a 39% whiff rate and a 50% called strike and whiff rate as well. The main question with Tanner Bibby is not the talent, as he's had 186 strikeouts and 148 innings pitched with a 2.13 ERA in the minor leagues, and he just cut up a major league team. It's how the Guardians are going to keep using him when everyone seems to be in decent health. I was reading a Scott White article, and he mentioned that the best course of action would probably be sending down Peyton Battenfield and then move on from Zach Plesac finally. But things got a little more interesting when Logan Allen had a great major league debut on Sunday. I think you should be betting on the talent here at this point. Bibby should win out as the guy who stays out for the majority of the year and has a good chance at being a valuable fantasy asset for the rest of the season. Bibby is a 4-pitch guy who throws a ton of sliders, and that slider returned an expected batting average of 146 in his first start. His slider has 4.5 more inches horizontal movement than the league average slider, and his average fastball velocity is sitting at 95 miles an hour. This is a pretty polished guy already. He's able to get swings and misses. It's another thing for Cleveland, who's got a pretty nice plethora of pitching talent in the minor leagues. You look at a guy like Gavin Williams as well, but I'm happy with Tanner Bibby. I want to be picking him up. If you need to spend some fab on him, I think that is a good guy to spend it on. The second player this week is Josh Young of the Rangers. He is 55% rostered so far this season, 281 average, 5 home runs, 16 runs batted in, a stolen base, and an 827 OPS. Young has made some decent improvements from his short stint in the major leagues last season and is paying off to start this season. In his 26 games last year, Young struck out at a crazy 38.2% rate and only walked 3.9% of the time. To start this season, he's been able to drop the strikeout rate to a better, not great, 32.3% and is walking at a 6.3% rate. Young's ISO is similar to last season, as he has the same amount of home runs and less plate appearances between the end of last season and the start of this season. The Rangers are letting Josh Young cook in the 5-hole, and he's been hitting for decent power with a 500 slugging percentage. If you lose points for strikeouts, this isn't a must-add player, but if you aren't getting penalized, this is a guy you need to get. He's going to hit for a solid average at this point, and he's able to launch about 5 home runs a month. You're going to get some solid production over the season. His expected slug is in the 78th percentile, hard hit percentage in the 70th percentile, in the better half of the league in barrel rate. I think his numbers are going to end up getting better. He's not going to regress, as he only passes the 50-game mark in the big leagues. He was a top prospect for a reason, and he is getting plenty opportunity to be fantasy relevant for a team that just seems to rake at this point. If you guys aren't playing So Rare MLB in addition to your year-long fantasy, what are you doing? So Rare, you're able to play in tournaments that happen over certain series. You have players that are cards, and you're able to earn upgrades, and it's been nice last week, and finally got some upgrades. You see the team now. I was able to use one of my common card swaps here, pick up Nick Lodolo as well. I had Jeffrey Springs there. The injuries, it's tough to do. You have a free swap on the common cards, and then I earned Teoscar Hernandez, which should be a nice little thing. Happy with how we went, so let's set up our team again for this upcoming game week 7. I'm going to go into the minors again. I had some success there. So let's register here. Starting pitcher, Nick Lodolo for that game week is going to be probable. He sets up against the Pittsburgh Pirates, I believe, on Sunday. So Nick Lodolo for sure going in. Devin Williams, it's the only reliever I got. He is going in my relief pitcher slot. These two guys, Jake Berger and Derek Hall. Jake Berger has come up, as you guys saw in my video yesterday. He's placing 3 different lefties this week. I'm going to be putting Jake Berger in the lineup at the corner infielder position. Fortunately, this is pretty much made for me. Luis Diaz and Gabriel Moreno. Let's see who Diaz has in these games. So it's going the Pirates into the Phillies. So I believe Phillies will be game week 7. And then Gabriel Moreno, they are going up against the Padres. So I'm taking Gabriel Moreno in that one. I like who I have for my teams here. Corbin Carroll seems to be just an awesome fantasy player. There's no reason I cannot be playing him again. So extra, the hitters. Teoscar Hernandez gets don't know who he gets after the Brewers here, but I think the upside's there for that. Yesiri Ruiz is going to be my last pick in there again. I'm just trying to crack in there, get some nice little rewards from my So Rare. But that's this team I have, again, submitting it finally for game week 7. If your fantasy baseball seasons aren't off to a hot start, So Rare MLB is the best way to get back into the fantasy baseball swing without having to join other leagues. Make sure you click the link in the description to join So Rare MLB and play along and see how you guys do in these tournaments as well. Next is one of the hottest hitters in all of baseball, Brent Rooker of the A's, 38% rostered. I did these numbers yesterday, so they might be a little different on the screen, but right now he's hitting 305, 7 home runs, 18 RBIs, and a 1.112 OPS. It seems we're getting a Joey Meneses type breakout from Rooker in his age 28 season, and if you take a look at his Baseball Savant page, there is nothing there you won't like. It is as red as you could possibly get. He's in the 92nd percentile or better in expected batting average, expected slug, barrel percentage, walk percentage, and has dropped his walk rate by 13% from last season. He's also in the top 2% of the league in expected damage. One of the main issues you'd think is that Oakland is a shitty place to hit, but before his home run last night, all 6 of his actual home runs would have been gone at the Coliseum as well. Rooker is hitting 409 against fastballs and only 200 against breaking balls, which seems like there should be some change in the way he is being pitched. Rooker has a weighted runs created plus of 205 and only has a batting average of balls in play of 275. This could be a super hot start, but I don't know why you wouldn't try and ride this hot streak for as long as you can. And finally, the last guy, this is a deeper ad, Spencer Steer of the Reds, 14% rostered. So far this season, he's hitting 260, 2 home runs, 9 runs batted in, a stolen base, and a 764 OPS. The expected stats don't love this pick. It's more of an eye test for me. Last season, we were super excited for Spencer Steer to be called up after the trade from Minnesota to Cincinnati, and he repaid us by hitting 211 over 95 at-bats. To start this season, he's hitting 260 in 77 at-bats, but has an on-base percentage of 348 and an above-league average weighted runs created plus of 104. Spencer Steer's hard hit percentage is up from last year. His max exit velo is up 6 miles an hour, and he has lowered his out-of-zone swing percentage. There isn't much in the way of percentile rankings that would make you want to pick out Spencer Steer, but I think he's going to be able to put bat on ball a lot better to start this season. He had a little knee thing that has set him back, but he is back in the lineup. I think you should look into him, rostering him if you are in a deep league, because I think he can find a way to get hot here in these next couple months. And again, if you're going to play at Great American Ballpark for the majority of your games, you have a very good chance of being a fantasy asset. Again, if you're not playing So Rare MLB, you need to be doing that as long as your fantasy leagues. Another way you can have some fun playing fantasy baseball that's just not on your classic season-long leagues. Thank you for watching the video. Do not forget to subscribe, join the Discord, and again, I'm not going to be here next week, so there'll be no fantasy baseball videos from me as I'm off in Mexico, a little vacation for myself. So nothing next week from me. The week after, we'll be into 4 videos a week for the near future as well. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in 2 weeks.